Hi, this is Justin Coletti of SonicScoop. Thanks for joining me for yet another MixCon workshop, this time with Universal Audio, diving deep into their Luna recording system. For those of you who have not heard of Luna yet, it is more than a DAW from Universal Audio. They just came out with it this spring, and it has been the talk of the town, the talk of the audio community. A lot of people curious to see how this could fit into their workflow. It's a free add-on for anyone who's in the Universal Audio universe. So if you're in that world of using Universal Audio stuff already or thinking about getting into it, it's something that's supposed to be deeply integrated with their hardware. It's got under the hood all of these extensions like built-in Neve summing, tape simulation, and all sorts of stuff. And it's really meant to be an alternative to some of the biggest DAWs out there. So this Luna recording system, I'd love to hear more about it, exactly what it can do, what other features are coming down the pipeline, and why it is not a DAW, but a recording system. What's the difference? What's the distinction? And we'll actually get to hear some audio examples of before and after using some of these Luna extensions, and we'll get to take a look under the hood of some real sessions to go through the process of recording, comping, editing, mixing, and getting a real clear overview of what it can do in all of those formats. To do that, we have Ben Lindell, who's one of the chief leads for content over at Universal Audio and their channel, as well as Connor Sexton, who is, I believe, the lead product designer for Luna. So let's hand it on over to them. If you guys haven't checked it out already, there's also a masterclass that Universal Audio is sponsoring with Jakir King, amazing producer, engineer. Definitely check that out. He actually does his entire mix in Luna. But now we'll go under the hood and see more what Luna can do with Ben and Connor of Universal Audio. Ben, Connor, take it away.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? I'm Ben from Universal Audio, and today I'm joined by Connor Sexton, the senior product designer for Luna. How's it going, Connor?
Good. Hey, MixCon. Hey, Ben. Glad to be here with you guys.
Yeah. So we're here today to talk to you guys about Luna, and we're going to dive into some sessions and show you guys some examples in a little bit. But first, I wanted to ask you, Connor, why in 2020 did Universal Audio come out with a new DAW?
Well, the thing is, we didn't release a DAW. We released a recording system. And I will say that is a very important distinction because it's not just another environment to edit and mix and record. It's a system that's tightly integrated with hardware, tightly integrated with the quality of analog signal processing that we've emulated in the digital realm, and provides the most immediate record quality sounding experience that we think is available right now. So we released this so that we could continue to do the kinds of things we've been doing with Apollo and UAD so that people could have the best sounding in the box experience of making music that there is today.
So who did you guys have in mind when you were creating Luna?
Really, there's no one that is making music that Luna is not for. If you're a singer-songwriter, a beat maker, a producer, the key aspects of Luna are applicable to anybody in that entire range. And that's because it has the most analog sounding experience, whether you're recording or mixing. And really, all of that can be achieved in incredibly low latency with Apollo hardware. So you're not going to be left out in this environment because you can get immediate results at any stage in the production process, from initial creation all the way through to, a finished mix, and you need to go and add something because of the capabilities that we've added with accelerated real-time monitoring and the Apollo and UAD platform. You can have the most immediate response that sounds like a record of really any system out there.
Yeah, totally. And yeah, it works great, whether you're making music in your bedroom or you're in a large format studio, Luna scales up and down to work with whatever music and system you're working with.
Absolutely. There's no track count limits. There's no limitations other than the host system that you're running. So as long as you have an Apollo device, you can run Luna. And that scales with all of the capacities that Apollo hardware has to connect with multiple units, to connect with satellites. All of that works immediately and right out of the gate with Luna. As long as you have an Apollo audio interface and are running a modern Mac, you can run Luna.
Yeah, and that's what I really love about it, is it gives you this big studio feel regardless of where you're working. So you can be in a bedroom with a twin, and you're still getting the same quality of sounds as when we, for one of the demo sessions for Luna, we went down to Ocean Way Studios in LA, recorded an entire band with Cass McCombs and Jakir King, and there's this big studio tracking experience. Luna worked great there. It works great in a bedroom. End of the day, what we keep on repeating here is it's all about the sound quality. It's all about making the music really shine through at every point in time.
Yep, absolutely.
So something else I feel like is really unique with Luna is the pace at which you guys have been improving the product, and also the amount that the users have been able to influence that. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I really think this is one of my own personal favorite things, above and beyond just how inspired I feel, again, making music, sitting in front of a computer, just in the way that I do that. As someone working in product development in the pro audio space, seeing and really delivering on the kinds of feedback that we're getting and the kind of engagement that we get from our community of users. Mm-hmm. So right out of the gate, we added a feature in Luna that's a feedback mechanism that lets people send us direct requests, direct reports, direct feedback of any kind. And it was overwhelming. We got so much feedback right off the bat and cataloged that feedback, counted it up, categorized it so that we knew what the most popular requests were. And we've basically been going down the lists in a manner that delivers on those feedback items as quickly as we possibly can. We're putting out software updates at a pace that, while it's actually completely normal in a modern application deployment environment, like if you're on a mobile app or on a web app, it's something that doesn't really exist anywhere else in the pro audio space, like in any recording software or plugin software. I don't think there's anything else right now that's delivered updates as frequently as we have. Since April, we've shipped, I think, over 30 features. I think the vast majority of those 30 plus items since April have been driven by the community. And that's something we continue to monitor on a really regular basis, is what we're being requested of, what we're being asked for. And we've put out 9 updates now since April. And that's just a pace of implementation, a pace of delivery of user requested items that I don't think is rivaled out there. And it's really exciting to be a part of that and to be able to deliver like that. It's incredibly satisfying to get an overwhelming amount of requests for something and be like, we're going to do that right now, and just have the freedom and the ability and the kind of team that's able to just go and do that so quickly. It's incredible.
Yeah, no, kudos to you guys, man. The being able to listen to the users' needs and respond to that in such a fast fashion is really great. And you can definitely tell, we've been doing nonstop live streams since Luna launched, and you get the sense of community of people that are really invested in Luna and the Apollo ecosystem. It's great to engage with them, not just on social media, but also have them, be a part of how the product is improving. It's truly special.
Yeah, it feels like a really cool moment for those that are participating in it. And what we believe and what we are striving for is that we're building something that, people are going to more and more gravitate to over time as we continue to develop and continue to add the kinds of things that everyone expects to be in their preferred recording platform and their preferred editing and mixing platform. Mm-hmm. We've got a lot of items that are still to be done, and the pace with which we're adding them is really exciting. It's truly fun. It really is.
Nice. Well, Connor, we could sit here and just talk about Luna all day, but I think what the people really want to see it in action and hear some music and kind of demonstrate what we're talking about with Luna. So let's dive into the session here and show people some of the key features of working with Luna.
For sure. Let's do it.
All right, so I've got a demo session to open up here to be able to show you guys some of my favorite sonic aspects of working inside of Luna. So we'll touch on the edit window here in just a minute, but what I want to show you guys are the Luna extensions. So built into the fabric of the Luna mixer are Luna extensions, which include Neve summing, the oxide tape, Studer tape, and most recently we added the ATR 102 master tape as well. So I could, geek out with you guys for hours about how great these tools are, but let's just take a listen to a before and after using all 3 of these. Let's first hear what this sounds like with all of the Luna extensions bypassed. So that already sounds really good. As you can see, I've got some UAD processing on the session as well. But let's go ahead and add back the tape and see what difference that makes to the mix. I'm going nowhere. I'm going nowhere. So you can instantly get more warmth, more punch, and just more definition to the sound instantly by adding tape across all of my tracks and my buses. But let's take that one step further and engage the Neve summing. I'm going nowhere. Man, that just now sounds more like a record instantly. This is the kind of thing I love about mixing inside of Luna, is the fact that by simply inserting the Luna extensions, I've given myself a huge head start towards developing a mix. And by kicking these on at the beginning of the mix process, I find myself needing to do less processing on the individual channels of my mix and focusing much more on the energy and the intention behind the mix as a whole. So Connor, do you mind kind of showing people how to import tracks and how to get to this stage?
Yeah, totally. So you can import tracks in really any way in Luna that's familiar to you in other environments. Drag and drop, file menu. I always like to go from Finder and drop things in. I've already got that set up here. So in this session, I have just a number of multi-tracks from a recording. And I'm going to show you how I like to start things out in Luna and just kind of fly through stuff and explain what I'm doing. So this is, of course, just drag and drop multi-track files from another environment. And I'm going to go through and set things up how I would for mixing and editing. So I'm going to start out by selecting all my drums, give those a decent color that works for me. And I'm going to start out by routing those to a bus. So I've just used a keyboard shortcut to pull up this create bus window, and I can choose the way it gets routed, the format of it, and of course I do want that Neve summing on there, so I'm going to hit create. And my drums bus just got created below the buses here, so I'm going to give that different color, and I'm actually going to put that ahead of the selected tracks, and then move on for guitars and do the same thing. I'll give those a nice color that works for me, and do the same thing. I'm going to create a guitar bus and move that up here, set the color. Just kind of going through what you would do if you got something in here into Luna that you wanted to play with. One more bus to create here, which is the keys bus, Neve summing on absolutely everything. And I'm going to put this in order here so that I can show you how I like to use one of my favorite features in Luna, which is the spill function. So what I've done now is I've hit spill on the drums bus, and I had the tracks at a height that didn't let you quite see it at first. So let's show that again. I'm just hitting spill here, and it's essentially acting as if it's like a folder, but based on routing. So I can just hit spill on the drums to show just those channels, or spill on guitar to show just those channels. And this lets you set up, if I switch over to the mixer here, a really simple way of working that, to Ben's point, if you start with Neve summing and master tape on everything. So I've got ATR 102 that's coming in here, and I'm going to put that onto all of these channels for the bus and for the main bus. And I'm already in this sonic position that by the time I hit play, this is going to sound like it would faders up in a professional analog recording studio of the caliber that make the best records of all time. So these are the things that are just immediately built into Luna. So if I hit spill here, you can see that I have my drums, my bass track, which didn't need a bus, my guitar, and my keys. And so I can really easily just mix this way at the bus level, which is a really nice way to do overall leveling. But if I need to go in and spill something to show just the channels that are routed to the drums bus and say, you know what, I need to pull down this snare shell. It was an experiment during recording, but I don't really want it. We're just going to stick with more of the snare top. I can do that really easily and get in and out of these things. So it's a really natural way to work. So I can spill just the keys and then hide those, or spill just the guitar tracks and then hide those. And I'm really quickly moving through my mix as I get things set up. So that's one of them is done. And you also can use that exact routing to create what is in essence a folder track. And it works in both the mixer and the timeline. In addition to all of these incredible emulations that are built directly into the mixer in Luna, I can of course use any of my universal audio plugins that are in my library, or any audio units effect that I've already invested in that works in any other environment. All of those plugins are available for signal processing inside of Luna on the inserts. So I want to make sure that that's entirely clear. We are making a lot of stuff that's proprietary to Luna with these Luna extensions that only works in here, but we're not an exclusive environment. You can pull in anything that you're using today, and that will work in Luna. So let's jump over now and look at some of the basics of editing and automation and things like warp editing. So I've got my drums in view here, and I'll just use the level that I'm at right now to show you some of the really basic aspects of editing and working with automation in Luna. As you move your mouse over every clip, there are some immediate callouts as to the things that you can do without having to switch tools, without having to think what mode you're in. You can trim a clip, you can do fades, you can do clip gain, you can even change pitch at the clip level, and all of this can really easily be reset by either double-clicking to enter a value or option-clicking to clear. Fades, of course, have fade shape editing and fade types like equal power and equal gain. That's all accessed and edited just by moving the mouse around. You don't need to go into any windows or any other operations or menus to set these things up. So there's a lot of really powerful tools that are exposed just at the top level of moving your mouse over the clip to work really responsively. Things default to a grid mode that is enabled by turning snap on and off, and you can override that really easily to decide on the fly if you want things to snap to the grid or move into the areas between the grid values. And of course, there's automation editing and warp editing. So let me put all of these drum tracks into an automation view that I can start to go and actually just get levels really easily on all of these channels and on each bus that they're feeding. So one thing that's great is if I solo this drum bus, I'm immediately hearing only the drums. I don't have to do anything to solo kick if I just want to hear any particular aspect of these drums. But if I only want to hear the snare while this bus is soloed, I can just hear snare top. So that's really great. And I can just select this entire clip and trim the automation up to get the level that I want. And I can hear the automation effect as it's moved, so I don't have to let go of the mouse. I can just immediately set the level for snare top and clear this solo and continue getting levels for other channels in Luna. I want a little bit less kick out, for example, and I've just printed that level using automation really quickly to the channel without having to touch the fader or do any sort of automation mode or anything like that. Let's get a little bit less room as well here, much more like dry sound that I want right now. So you can hear that change took effect immediately. So there's really natural and easy to edit automation and clips inside of Luna. And I can really easily get back to these clips views for all these channels with single key commands. I can go in and edit with a pencil tool or select and trim. Something else that's immediately available and responsive on every clip in Luna is a per clip gain and per clip pitch setting that lets you dial in exact levels for the pre-plugin playback level of every clip and every recording that you've made on each track, as well as the pitch for really creative or surgical effect editing. So you can go in and set that on a per clip level really easily by clicking and dragging, or go in and even enter exact values. So really powerful and really easy to access directly on each clip in Luna. Let's also take a look at how easy it is to fix timing issues and talk about tempo and warp editing in Luna. So I'm just going to show you on a one track level here. So let me get this zoomed in a little bit and take a look at how we edit timing in Luna. So as you can see here, I'm in a view that shows transients and has the ability to add warp markers by clicking here to say that I want to, anchor one of these particular transients in time. And the algorithm that's used is selected on a track or clip level. So if I want all of the clips on this track to use a particular algorithm, I can click here in the track header. And for this, which is all drums, I'm going to use Luna Razor Blade, which is a proprietary algorithm that was developed in-house that is essentially like actually going in and editing and crossfading everything and doing that behind the scenes in an algorithmic manner based on machine learning. It's incredibly powerful and incredibly good sounding. And I can just really easily adjust the performance, the timing of these transients by clicking and dragging. So this is available at every clip and really makes it easy and intuitive and obvious how to set up timing performance fixes inside of tracks in Luna. All right, so we've seen a little bit of the real basics of editing inside of Luna, but I'm pretty sure people are going to want to see how this thing handles making music, doing some real workflows like comping, recording, overdubbing. Ben, do you want to take some of that on right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. There's a few things about tracking inside of Luna that I really love. Number one on them is what we call ARM, or Accelerated Real-Time Monitoring. What this allows me to do is allows me to not just record my tracks, but I can also process them through UAD plugins in real time. So this way I can commit to sounds such as like a guitar amp or compression or EQ and commit those sounds to disk, making the mixing process that much easier by already having great sounding tones on my tracks. So let me show you what this looks like. So here I've opened up a session that I was previously working on, and let's say, for instance, I wanted to redo my main guitar track. Well, with Luna, it's as simple as record enabling that track, and you'll notice that in the unison slot, it's already populated with the Marshall Plexi Classic that I was using previously. And this is going to flow in real time into the API 560 EQ that I already had on that track. And since these are both UAD plugins, I can play through these plugins in real time with no added latency. Let's hear what that sounds like. Yeah, sounds like a Marshall. through an API EQ. I love this sound. So now let me quickly hide those plugin windows. And you'll notice on this track, I've already got a couple of versions from previous attempts, but I'm going to go ahead and create a new version and try a new take. Let's hear what this sounds like. So I'm pretty happy with that take, but I kind of liked the way I played the second phrase better on the previous take. Well, comping inside of Luna is incredibly easy. What I'm going to do is select the area that I want to comp, pull up the version that I want to comp from, copy there, go to my new version, paste, and that's it. That's how easy comping is inside of Luna. So now I can just select this area, duplicate it, loop it out to match the rest of my performance. And that's how easy it is to overdub in real time through UAD effects in Luna. It's honestly just a lot of fun to make music in. And one of my favorite things about working inside of Luna is the fact that my signal chains are stored inside the session, which means I can come back to a session at any point in the future and recall the exact same settings that I was using previously. I'm going to record enable my second guitar track. You'll notice it instantly loads up the Fender 55 Tweed Deluxe plugin. So that way I can record the second guitar part just like I did on the first one. So let me play my playhead here. And now I've instantly recalled that tone and am processing through a Fender amp to complement the Marshall. So as you can see, recording inside of Luna is fast, easy, and intuitive. And most importantly, it stays in real time. So there's no disconnection between what you're playing and what you're hearing. So whether you're recording a single overdub like this, or you're tracking an entire live band, that same workflow applies. You can use unison processing, you can use UAD plugins, you can use reverbs and delays on auxes, all in real time, and create multiple headphone mixes. It's an incredibly powerful experience, and it's why we call Luna a recording system and not just a DAW. So far, we've been focusing a lot on audio, both recording and mixing inside of Luna, but of course, it also does instruments and MIDI incredibly well. So included with Luna is a Luna instrument called Shape, which has a huge variety of sounds from drums, percussion, bass, keyboards, synths, guitars, orchestral instruments, you name it, it's inside of Shape. And the thing I love about using Shape is it's a curated collection of samples. So if you want a badass sounding marimba, it's in there. If you want an incredible sounding Rhodes, it's in here. And then beyond that, you can come in and really customize and tailor the sounds to your production. But that's not all. You can actually use any AU instrument inside of Luna, and they all benefit from the accelerated real-time monitoring. Again, giving you as much connection between what you're playing and what you're hearing in the moment. Let me show you guys how this works. So let me make a new instrument track, and instead of the default Shape, let me show you guys one of the other Luna instruments, which is the Moog Mini Moog plugin. This is an incredibly faithful and accurate emulation of the Mini Moog synthesizer, which is one of my favorites in the world, ever. Comes with a ton of different presets, and of course, for bass tones, leads, just anything where you need that Moog sound, the Mini Moog is a great place to start. Let me show you just a few of the presets that are fun. I've heard that before. I've heard that before. That sounds badass. Let's hear what these some of these lower bass sounds are like. Kick ass. That's the thing I love about the Mini Moog. It's fat and it's rich and it's just filled with harmonic content, as well as incredibly simple yet powerful sound shaping tools with that filter. Let's hear what that sounds like. Yeah, that's what you're looking for. So Luna not only works with the built-in Luna instruments, but also works with any AU instrument, and they all benefit from the accelerated real-time monitoring. So that way the sound, as you play it, gets to your ears as fast as possible. So you can use any of your favorites.
All right. Well, thanks, Ben, and thank you, MixCon. That wraps up our brief tour of Luna. There's so much more to see, and if you haven't already, make sure to check out Jakir King's masterclass here as part of MixCon to get an insight into how a working professional is already using Luna in their workflow today. Thanks again. Bye.
Well, all right. I think that was a great overview of pretty much all the kinds of things that you can do in Luna. Do you have questions about Luna? What else can it do? How do you do certain things? What is coming next down the pipeline in Luna? Do you want to make your own request for what should come next? Then join us for a live Q&A. If you're watching the live premiere of this video, we're going to be following up with a live Q&A with the folks from Universal Audio, so you can ask your questions about Luna directly and in real time. And of course, if you're watching this many months or years down the line, we'll have a replay of that live Q&A available right here on this channel. If you haven't checked it out already, also check out the sponsored MixCon Masterclass from Jakir King, amazing producer engineer who completes an entire mix inside Luna. I think about an hour and a half of just incredible wisdom and insights in mixing process from Jakir King. So definitely check that out in the channel. Look for that link down below. Hope to see you in the Q&A. Also, check out more MixCon videos. If you want to make sure you don't miss any more great content like this, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button down below. Go to SonicScoop.com, sign up for the newsletter there. You can also go to SonicScoop.com/MixCon giveaway to enter the MixCon Mega Giveaway. We're giving away thousands of dollars worth of free gear from all of the great sponsors for all these MixCon presentations and events. Thanks for hanging out with me. This has been Justin Coletti of SonicScoop with Connor and Ben of Universal Audio. See you next time.